Motherhood is one of the most powerful callings in the world. A godly mother not only nurtures her children, but also shapes the character of future generations. Her love, prayers, and example can influence not just her family, but society and history itself. The Bible and Christian history are filled with stories of remarkable mothers whose faith, perseverance, and dedication left an indelible mark on the lives of their children. From raising steadfast leaders to inspiring entire movements, these women demonstrate the pivotal role of godly motherhood in God's kingdom. In today's episode of Mothers of Faith, we celebrate 3 extraordinary women whose lives exemplify this truth. Monica, the prayerful mother of St. Augustine; Susanna Wesley, the disciplined and devoted mother of John and Charles Wesley; and Eunice, the faithful mother of Timothy, Paul's trusted disciple. Their stories are not just historical accounts. They are living testimonies of the power of a mother's faith. Whether through tears, teaching, or tireless prayer, these women reveal how godly motherhood can transform children, families, and even nations. Let's dive into their inspiring journeys and uncover the lasting legacies they left behind. Monica, the prayerful mother of St. Augustine. Monica, the mother of St. Augustine, is one of the most celebrated examples of a godly mother whose persistent prayers and unwavering faith transformed a wayward son into one of Christianity's greatest theologians. Born in Thagaste, a town in present-day Souk Aras, Algeria, in 331 AD in North Africa, Monica faced immense challenges. Her husband was a pagan with a volatile temper, and her young son, Augustine, seemed determined to reject her Christian values. Yet Monica's heart burned with love for her family, and she never wavered in her mission to see them come to Christ. Her greatest trial came as Augustine grew older. He pursued a hedonistic lifestyle, openly embracing sin and intellectual rebellion. For years, Monica wept and prayed for her son, often fasting and pleading with God for his salvation. She sought counsel from priests and bishops, and one famously told her,
"The child of so many tears will never be lost."
Eventually, Monica's prayers bore fruit in God's perfect time. After years of resistance, Augustine experienced a profound conversion, leading him to become a defender of the faith and one of the Church's most influential figures. Monica's story is a testament to the power of persistent prayer. Her unshakable belief in God's ability to transform lives teaches us that no soul is beyond redemption. She reminds us that a mother's faith and love can break through the hardest of hearts and inspire lasting change. Monica passed away shortly after witnessing her son's baptism, a moment she had longed for her entire life. Augustine later wrote of her in his Confessions, honoring her as the instrument God used to bring him to salvation. What greater proof do we need of the power of a mother's faith? Monica shows us that even when all seems lost, prayer and trust in God can change the course of history. Susanna Wesley, the mother of Methodism. Susanna Wesley, often called the mother of Methodism, stands as a towering example of how a mother's faith and dedication can change the world. Born in 1669 in England, Susanna was the youngest of 25 children. Her strong intellect and unwavering faith shaped her from a young age, preparing her for a life of profound influence. As the wife of Samuel Wesley, a clergyman, Susanna faced many hardships, including financial struggles, frequent absences of her husband, and the loss of 9 of her 19 children. Despite these challenges, she remained resolute in her faith and in her role as the spiritual leader of her household. Susanna's home became a sanctuary of discipline and devotion. She established a rigorous schedule, dedicating time each week to give individual attention and spiritual guidance to each of her surviving children. She believed in teaching her children to think critically and grounded them in the scriptures from an early age. Her commitment to prayer was extraordinary. Despite her busy household, Susanna set aside 2 hours every day for personal devotion, often retreating to a quiet corner with her apron over her head to seek the Lord. Her influence is perhaps most evident in her sons, John and Charles Wesley. John became the founder of the Methodist movement, which transformed the spiritual landscape of 18th century England and beyond. Charles became a prolific hymn writer, penning over 6,000 hymns that are still sung in churches today. John Wesley credited his mother's teachings and example as the foundation of his faith. He once wrote,
"I learned more about Christianity from my mother than from all the theologians in England."
Susanna's story reminds us that a mother's influence extends far beyond the walls of her home. Her unwavering commitment to instilling faith and discipline in her children had a ripple effect that spread across nations and centuries. Susanna Wesley's legacy is a powerful testimony to the impact of godly motherhood, a reminder that nurturing faith in the next generation can change the world. Eunice, the faithful mother of Timothy. Eunice, the mother of Timothy, stands as one of the most inspiring examples of godly motherhood in the Bible. Though little is written about her, the impact of her faith on her son and the early church is undeniable. Eunice lived in the 1st century in a mixed-faith household. She was a devout Jewish believer, while her husband was Greek. Despite the challenges of this spiritual divide, Eunice remained steadfast in her commitment to God and the Scriptures. Alongside her mother, Lois, Eunice taught Timothy the Word of God from a young age. Paul later commended both women for their sincere and living faith, which Timothy inherited. As Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 1,
"I remember your genuine faith, for you share the faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice."
Eunice's influence didn't stop at home. Her faith and teachings prepared Timothy to become one of the Apostle Paul's most trusted companions and a key leader in the early church. Timothy served as a pastor and a missionary, helping to spread the gospel across the Roman Empire. Eunice's story reminds us that a mother's role is vital in shaping the spiritual foundation of her children. By instilling the Scriptures and modeling faith, she prepared Timothy to answer God's call. Her quiet yet profound legacy continues to inspire mothers to pass on their faith to the next generation. Eunice shows us that faith nurtured at home can ripple across the world. Her story is a timeless reminder of how God uses faithful mothers to build his kingdom. These lessons are not just for mothers, but for anyone seeking to leave a legacy of faith and love in the world. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring journey through the lives of Monica, Susanna Wesley, and Eunice, 3 extraordinary mothers whose faith shaped their children, impacted their families, and changed the course of history. If their stories inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button and share this video with your friends and family. Leave a comment below telling us how these mothers' lives have impacted you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. More stories of faith await.